So I'm gonna get you guys. I'm gonna get you guys right. I'm gonna fix this situation. And the situation that I need to fix is putting this movie on your radar because this is the one. This is a found footage movie that completely fucking surprised me. And if you've seen my reviews, you know that found footage films are a genre that I continue to defend, but without reason because most of the time I'm disappointed. Perfect example is Body Cam that came out a few weeks ago on Shudder. It did everything okay for the first two acts, and the third act just completely shit the bed. But this movie certainly enhances all the things that I think this genre should get right. It gets right and then enhances a few other things. Quick synopsis. First off, directed by Markin Tarasuk. What's awesome about the Tarasuk? What's awesome? I watched the video to make sure I pronounced his name right, and I feel like I'm still butchering it. But you know, maybe he'll show up on my comments and tell me. I don't know. We'll see. So the movie follows Tara. Tara is a woman whose brother went missing 22 years ago, and she finally decides to restart the investigation and start this journey towards figuring out what happened to him when he disappeared on Halloween night. The documentarian following her is Markin, the director of this film, who is also the director of the film within the film. Let's go. We love us some meta shit. The movie takes place on the northern Vancouver Islands in the Black Forest, which if you've ever visited or seen, they are fucking terrifying. The Appalachian Mountains and the Black Forest just, I mean, it's hell on earth in the most mysterious and intoxicating way. There's so much lore and so much legend, mysticism that lies within these forests. And this movie encapsulates that. So we follow Tara. Right? She's doing the documentarian bit. She's trying to figure out what happened to her brother. We get shots and interviews with detectives and anthropologists and historians of the area. And what I really love about this movie is that it is filmed and shot like a modern day documentary. It's not trying to do the whole vintage thing because somehow found footage films have become synonymous with vintage style filmmaking. The grainy footage shot on film, like, that's not scary because it's not relevant. Not every found footage movie needs to have that aesthetic. I feel like the more you ground it in what we are used to seeing, right? Good documentaries nowadays are shot in fucking 4K. They're very clear. They have good to decent cinematography. So this movie shoots it like it is shot today. There is no sense of vintage. There is an element of that. It comes in later because they are following the tracks of her brother, and he had a camera with him that at that point, it's 22 years old, man. Like, yes, it's going to look like that. But 99.9% of this movie is shot in the style of a modern day documentary, which already just put my ass in the seat. The performances are absolutely perfect to sell you the idea that this exists. But why that works is because throughout the entire movie, right, up until the third act, you don't really know what you're getting into. Is it supernatural? Is it occult? Is it a simple accident that's built up to be something more because this northern island is so lush with lore and the people on it are so superstitious? And throughout the first two acts, you get this experience of delving into all of these different things, and all of these theories all get enough space and enough room to breathe. Could it be this? Could it be that? And this movie doesn't spoon feed you anything throughout the first two acts. It allows you to come up with your own theory based on all these little nooks of information that you're acquiring through this documentary that feels like a legit documentary. Like it astounded me just how much of a documentary this feels like. At no point did I feel like, man, this is a movie pretending to be a documentary. And that is the problem with most found footage movies, is that you fall into that trope of, yeah, I know this is a film, and I'm forcing myself to believe that it is found footage and that it makes sense that someone came across this documentary and somehow now we're seeing it. This movie has validity behind it. There's this honesty behind the way that the story is told, that it's not focused on the horror elements first. It is focused on the character of Tara and her mental disassembly. Like, she is completely being emotionally and physically deconstructed throughout this entire documentary, because she is learning things about the town that have been hidden from her. And I'm not gonna give you, and this is completely spoiler free. I think that there is more than a good mystery here. There is a genuinely interesting mystery here. And the mystery is so good and so real and so authentic that you almost forget that this is supposed to be a horror film. And that's not a bad thing at all, because when the horror kicks in, you are sold. You have been built up to this point, and you have been given the groundwork to build up to that point where you've the catharsis of horror finally hits you. When you get to that third act, without any fucking spoilers, because I'm not spoiling anything, when you get to that third act, man, do they hit a home run. Okay, this is where all of these movies fucking fall apart. All right, these movies fall apart like limp dick Lego pieces. This movie does not fall apart. This movie is further enhanced in the third act because the first two acts were so impeccable. And already the bar was here, because with that first two acts, I was like, please do not shit the bed, man. They hit a home fucking run with the third act. The scares in this film, and I'm not going to tell you what the revelation is, but there is obviously scares. It's a horror film. The scares in this film towards the third act are so earned and so well paced and so well shot, and the revelation is so satiating. And one of the cardinal sins that these fucking movies always commit is that it never feels earned and it never feels satisfied. It just feels like a bunch of shit being thrown at the screen for no fucking reason, except to give the audience a sense that they went through a journey that was not fucking earned. This movie earns its ending. It is so impactful. It is visceral. It fucking works. The horror is set up perfectly. The shadows are great. The color grading is awesome. The sense of movement with the camera is great. It never tips into corny. It never gets cringy. It never takes all the elements that are bad about these films in the last act and then delivers them to you and going, hey, fuck it, we've done great for the last two acts. Let's just give in to the bullshit. They don't do that. They deliver the ending in such a great way that it feels complete. The resolution feels earned. And what's even crazier is that for the first two acts, man, this movie's so good, I could have not had the horror elements. It invested me so much in the mystery and in its pacing and in its characters. Tara is like just a little bit annoying, but obviously her brother's been missing, and she learns a few things throughout the film that obviously, if I had, let's say my mother disappeared, right? Or you know, because I don't have a brother, but if my mother disappeared and I found out that there was a specific thing that could have helped me figure this out sooner, I would lose my shit, because these 22 years could have been solved. These 22 years could have been salvaged if I had that piece of information. Yeah, she's annoying, but the situation is kind of earned, and her arc is earned. Markian as the documentarian is also a really good character to sort of follow through this journey, where most documentarians kind of sit back and there's not much to do. They're just holding the camera. They're just letting, sort of being the cynical side of the main character's journey. He has a genuine part in the story that worked for me. And I also love that there's a reference to the cameraman never talking in these fucking movies. Why is the cameraman never talking? Why doesn't it work? Why is he all of a sudden he's just the guy who holds it? And that shit always bothers me. And in this movie, there is a direct reference to like him referring to the cameraman and going, why the fuck don't you ever say anything? And you'll see in context when you see the scene why it works, but I love that, because in these movies the cameraman genuinely is a non-character. He's just there to hold the camera and die on camera at some point. Dude, I don't want to say more because I don't want to spoil this movie. Cinematography is incredible. This works as a documentary. It works as a horror movie. It works as a character piece. It fixed every fucking issue I have with these found footage films. This is maybe my favorite found footage film of all time. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this, of all time. Like, I grew up on Paranormal Activity 1. I grew up on, obviously when Blair Witch Project came out, I was very young, just before I was getting into horror films. So I didn't get to see that in theaters. I saw that when I was older, and I didn't get to appreciate it. So my genuine love for this genre came with Paranormal Activity, and I've watched every movie since, man. Bad, good, you fucking name it. But this movie set a standard for that kind of film work that was so enthralling and worked on every level. Absolutely worked on every level. So fucking kudos to Markian for making one hell of a found footage movie. So go watch it. Please, you have my absolute fucking recommendation. You know I don't rate movies, but like fucking this, if I had a rating, this would be like, just fucking go. Spend the money, take a friend, sit your ass down, enjoy it. Please. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being awesome. And as always, I will see you at the movies.